Good afternoon. This is Maria Tucker, Program Manager for the Diabetes Center at Duke Raleigh Hospital, and I'm also a registered dietitian and a certified diabetes educator. Today, our video blog, will be on how do you eat healthy for less. So let's get started. Our objectives for this afternoon are, first of all, we want to find out why do we have to eat healthy? And then when we figure that out, we have to know what's in the food we eat. How do you buy fresh food at the grocery store? Do you buy frozen or canned? And also, how do you buy produce? I know we all stand at the grocery store in front of the cantaloupe bin and figure out which one of these would be the one I should get. We also want to know how do you prepare tasty, healthy food and the shelf life of food. How do you know when a food is about to go bad or when do you throw them away? Reasons for eating healthy. When we eat healthy, we provide our body with vitamins, minerals, fiber, and other nutrients which allow it to function normally every day. When your body does not get enough of these nutrients, you can end up with illness or inability to perform normal daily activities. Getting too much food or overeating can lead to being overweight or obese, which then leads to some chronic diseases like heart disease, diabetes, stroke, and some types of cancers. Now, what should we eat? Let's talk about vitamins. Vitamins are organic substances found in food that are needed in very small amounts for health. Vitamins work with enzymes to help regulate processes that convert food to energy. So there are a lot of vitamins that we all need to eat, and a lot of these are provided by fruits and vegetables that we find at the grocery store. Another thing that we should remember to eat are minerals. These are natural compounds that your body needs in small amounts to help with proper function and strength. Humans need small amounts of about 14 minerals to maintain normal body function and good health, and that includes calcium, iron, potassium, sodium. Those are just some of the few minerals that we all need in order for us to be able to maintain health. Phytochemicals. There's a lot of buzz around this word, and a lot of times we don't know what phytochemicals really are. Well, these are plant chemicals that the plant produces and which help protect our bodies or prevent disease. They're not essential, which means that the body does not need it to sustain life, but they are very beneficial in helping us with fighting disease and also to stay healthy. Fiber is another thing that we need to have in our daily diet, and they consist of non-digestible carbohydrates and lignin. Examples of dietary fiber that you might see on the label include cellulose, pectin, lignin, oat bran, oligosaccharides, gums, hemicellulose, resistant starch, and wheat bran. Now, you may not find these in the nutrition facts section of your label, but you will find these in the ingredient labels of your food products that you purchase. There are different types of fiber, and one of them is functional fiber, and these are isolated non-digestible carbohydrates that have beneficial physiologic effects in humans. And examples of functional fiber are resistant starch, some of the gums that you will see in the label, chitosan, inulin, and the inulin is the most common one that you will find in high fiber products or products that have been given additional fiber that the manufacturers promote for their consumers. Pectin is another one, and this is actually something that you will find in fresh fruits. Apples have pectin in them. Other fruits would have pectin in them. Bananas do have them as well. So these are also good to include in your daily diet. Chitin, polydextrose, and indigestible dextrins. Those are some other fibers that are added on to your food. The nutrient color wheel. These are the different vitamins and minerals that we all need to have in our daily diet. For example, red. The color red includes lycopene, some antioxidants, and vitamin A. Lycopene is found in tomatoes, and it would be better to eat cooked tomatoes about half a cup twice a week in order to get the amount of lycopene that you need to get the benefit from it. Lycopene in cooked tomatoes is better used by your body than those found in fresh tomatoes. So if you eat spaghetti sauce, tomato sauce, things of that nature, during the week, that would you would be able to get in some of the lycopene that you need. Orange includes fruits and vegetables that have vitamin C, antioxidants, vitamin A, and beta carotene. So these would be your carrots, your as well tomatoes, watermelon, things like that that have a lot of color to them would be included in this category. Blue and purple, those fruits and vegetables have a lot of polyphenols, antioxidants, and potassium. And examples of that would be blueberries, any type of vegetables that have that shade. For example, the peppers that are along those colors would be good. Green, vitamin A and folic acid, and you would have these vegetables such as your dark leafy greens, kale, collard, spinach, those types of vegetables would be good to include. And of course the yellow vegetables and fruits which have potassium and B vitamins, and this would be your citrus fruits, mangoes, those kinds of things. Squash would be a good source also that is in the yellow category. So if you follow the nutrient color wheel, or as I like to say, eat the rainbow of fruits and vegetables, you would be able to get a variety of different nutrients that your body will need every day. How do you buy fresh food at the grocery store? For fruits and vegetables, sometimes we stand there and try to think of which one would I pick among the cucumbers and peppers that we see at the grocery store. First of all, you want to look for bright color and no bruises. So if you see a cucumber at the grocery store and they have a lot of dents and cracks on them, avoid those because those are not your freshest ones. You also would want to look for no presence of animals, insects and things like that on your fruits and vegetables. Sometimes worms can burrow themselves underneath the skin of fruits and vegetables, so you may want to examine your fruit or your vegetable before you purchase it to make sure there are no insects that are buried underneath or caterpillars and things like that on them. Avoid leafy greens with wilted or slimy leaves. That's a telltale sign that the vegetable is not fresh. When you buy them in the bags, examine the bags to make sure that even though the outside leaves are nice and crisp, that the inside also has nice and crisp leaves on them and not slimy parts. You may want to also look at the ribs or the stem of the leafy greens that you're buying to make sure that they don't have any orangey red coloration to them and cracks on them, because that is a sign that the vegetable is not fresh. Try to buy vegetables when they are in season. They are less expensive that way, and a lot of times if you buy them from a local farmer's market stall, then you would be able to get more for your money that way. Look for fruits that are firm with a slight give when pressed and no bruises or soft brown spots or cracks. When you are buying watermelon, for example, make sure that the watermelon is heavy, and that's a sign that it will be a juicy watermelon. For cantaloupe, they usually have a fragrant smell to them, and it's not very, very soft when you touch it, but it will have a little bit of a give when you press on it a little bit. Mangoes are the same way. You don't want to get mangoes that are too soft to the touch. You don't want to get mangoes that are too hard either, because then they're going to be too unripe. Avocados, if you want to buy them, they have to have a little bit of a give as well and not too soft. They can easily spoil, and so when you buy avocados, make sure that you are buying them at the right time. If you do end up buying some that are too hard, then you may want to leave it on your windowsill in your kitchen for a couple of days until it starts to get a little soft, and then you can use it that way. Like I said, avoid fruits with obvious signs of insects or insect damage to them, and most fruits will have a fragrant smell when ripe, such as cantaloupe and mango. So do use your nose to try and determine which mango or which cantaloupe to buy. When shopping in season, buy fruits and vegetables that are available at your local farmers market. Some of our grocery stores now buy local produce from the farmers in the area, and then they will take them to the grocery stores, and so you'll have access to that as well there. If you find local little fruit stands and vegetable stands, they are probably grown right within a few miles of your area, so that those will also be good choices to buy. Compare your fresh produce grocery bill in the summer versus winter. Sometimes summer vegetables are cheaper if you buy them in the summer versus buying them fresh in the wintertime. A good example would be your squashes. Zucchini and yellow squash are plentiful in the summer, and they could be more pricey in the wintertime. During the wintertime, you could substitute frozen produce and buy locally grown fresh produce in the summer to save you money. Or you can also grow your own vegetables in your backyard or in pots. These work very, very well and also can be used as a fun activity for children in order for them to like vegetables. When you involve children in the growing and preparation of your garden, they are more invested in it and they're more likely to try the vegetables that they grew themselves. It's not that hard to grow vegetables. You can buy seedlings from your local home improvement store and start out that way, or you can also start them from seed right around early spring in order to get a head start on it, and then transplant them into your big pot or into your backyard once frost is gone. You may want to also check the farmer's market because it's often of higher quality with prices that are comparable to most grocery stores. In addition to that, the farmers market produce usually sell them. They grow them organically, so you may want to check them out as well. And there is a link here to the USDA website where you can actually search for the farmers market closest to your zip code. So if you go to that website, you'll be able to find the closest farmers market to your area. Let's talk about buying frozen versus canned. A lot of people stay away from canned fruits and vegetables, but they are not necessarily the bad guys. Cons for buying canned products. They usually have added sugar, they have added salt. Some frozen vegetables have added sauce in them, which increases sodium, fat, and also calorie content. Frozen fruits and vegetables without added sugar or salt are higher in quality since they are usually flash frozen and nutrients are preserved. So sometimes buying frozen vegetables and fruits are actually better for you than buying the fresh, especially around the winter time, because you don't know how long the fruit or vegetable has been on the grocery shelf, and then you'll be buying them. Whereas for the frozen vegetables, they actually are flash frozen from the farm so that the nutrients are preserved. So when you buy them from the freezer section, they still will have more of the nutrients that they contained in the beginning. Canned tomatoes and tomato sauce without added salt or sugar are better for you because, like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, lycopene is better utilized by your body when it's in cooked tomatoes versus using the lycopene from fresh tomatoes. When do you keep or throw away? These words are things that you will find on the packaging of food products that you buy. For example, the sell-by date tells the store how long to display the product for sale. So you would want to buy the product before this date expires. It doesn't really give you anything about the quality of the product, but it's just really a date that the manufacturers stamp on the product to tell the store how long they should keep the product on the shelf to sell. Best if used by. This is a statement that is on the packaging that tells you more about the flavor or quality of the product. For example, even sodas, diet or regular sodas, now will have, some of them will have best if used by dates on them because over time, the quality of the flavor of the carbonation and things like that on the soda will diminish. You will find this most in meats, for example. You'll find them also in breads and other products like that that have flavor or quality that diminishes over time. The use by date is the last date that you should be using product because the quality is best if you use it by that date. And this is put on the packaging by the manufacturer as well. So for example, your milk will have a use by date. So I would suggest that you use the milk by the end of that date. Sometimes you might get away with keeping the milk for 1 or 2 days after that. But most of the time, by the time you reach that date, your milk, if you haven't used it, would have already tasted funny or would be spoiled. Frozen versus fast food. Sometimes people stay away from eating frozen meals because they feel like it's not as healthy for them, but then they would go to fast food restaurants and purchase things that they think might be healthy. On the slide, you see a comparison of two different food items which have similar content to it. You'll see the Healthy Choice Cafe Steamer's Beef Merlot, and I'm using this just as an example. It has broccoli, carrots, potatoes, beef, and green beans. On the right-hand side, you'll see the fast food, which is the cheeseburger from Wendy's. And it does have some vegetable in it with lettuce, tomato, onion, but it also does have the mayonnaise, and it has the bread and the beef patty. Comparing the two as far as nutrients, you'll see that the Healthy Choice has quite a bit less calories than the cheeseburger at 220 versus 580. Total fat is also a lot less, with 6 grams for the Healthy Choice and 33 grams for Wendy's. Carbohydrates are less, and so would be your sodium. Protein is less, but that's because the Wendy's sandwich has, I believe, 2 cheeseburger patties on there, and the fiber is actually a little bit more on the Healthy Choice compared to the Wendy's sandwich. Frozen meals may cost less or the same as fast food, but the healthy frozen meals give you less calories, less fat, less sodium, and it also gives you more vitamins and minerals. So all in all, if you are staying away from frozen meals, they are actually a good option for you to take to the office, or whenever you travel, if you can carry that with you wherever you're going, instead of stopping by a fast food restaurant to purchase a meal. It's actually more nutritious for you. You just have to know which kind to get. When planning your trip to the grocery store, make a list and stick to it. Sometimes the grocery bill becomes more when you actually go to each aisle at the grocery store instead of following the list that you have. You may also want to shop the periphery of the grocery store. Do not shop the middle aisles right away. Go to the outside areas of the store. If you notice, that's where you'll find the produce. That's also where you'll find the meat and proteins, and it's also where you'll find the dairy products. And those are the essential items that you normally would want to buy. In the middle section is where you'll find some of the choices that are usually considered impulse buys. That's where you'll find them. A lot of times they will also be in the middle of the aisle where people would normally get attracted to that. You also may want to check the sales section. Sometimes seeing a sales sign right in front of the store may not actually mean that the product is actually a good buy for you. If you go into the area where that particular product is, you may actually find better alternatives to the product that they claim is on sale. So make sure that you try to find a way to get to the product where it normally would be versus buying them from the sale sign and the sale bin right in front of the store. Plan your menu around what you already have. So before you go to the grocery store and buy your products, make sure that you check your pantry, your cupboards, your refrigerator and freezer to see what you already have. And you'll be surprised that you'll be able to plan a whole week's menu sometimes with things that you already have. And then make your list of the staples that you need before you go to the grocery store. At home, what I do is I have a little notepad, magnetic notepad on the refrigerator door, and each family member can write things on that list that they need. And if it's not on the list, it doesn't get bought. So my family already knows that, and so we make sure that if we run out of something, we put it on the grocery list that I will then take to the store. And when I get to the store, I always compare prices. Like, for example, if I'm buying whole wheat pasta, I always compare not just the price, but also the nutrient content and the value of what I'm buying. Because you might find something that's on sale for 99 cents, but if nutritionally you'll be better off buying something that costs $1.05 a box, then I would go with the one that's a little bit higher in price, but more nutritious for me. Take advantage of weekly sales at the store. Make sure that you sign up for some of those weekly specials that they have, or the email alerts that you might be able to get to find out what's on sale for this week. You could also plan your menu around what's on sale at the grocery store, and that will save you some money as well. Get to know your local grocer. I'm sure most of us have a particular grocery store that we tend to go to most of the time. So if you get to know the person at the produce section, the butcher who cuts the meat, then you would be able to find out when they actually put meats and produce and breads and things like that on sale. And then you can go to the grocery store that way, and therefore you'll get first dibs at the products that are on sale, especially for the meat. When they go on sale, usually people grab them. And so if you are there the first day that they put the meat on sale, you'll be able to find the best products for the lower cost. When you're going to work, make sure that you bring your own pack of drinks or snacks to take with you rather than using the vending machine, which can cost you almost twice what it would have cost you if you bought, let's say, a pack of diet soda to take to work versus buying a can of soda from the vending machine. That will really save you some money right there. Bring your own lunch. It doesn't really take much to pack a lunch either at night before you go to bed or early in the morning. It may take you to wake up a little bit earlier to prepare your meal for the day, but that will also help save you some money in the long run. Buy in bulk only if you can use the food item before it goes bad. I know we all are guilty of this. We see something on sale that's in bulk and we think that's a good buy, so we buy it, and then we end up throwing away half of it because we never get to use it. You can also find a buddy or a family member to share the product with. For example, if you found a bag of potatoes, sometimes they go on sale as 2 for 1. But if there's only 2 or 3 of you in the family, you probably won't be able to use all of those potatoes before they go bad. So the good thing to do is to find a family member you can share it with, or you can also, if you find something like that in bulk, go ahead and prepare them and freeze them. You could cut up potatoes and freeze them for a future dish that you want to prepare. So those are some things that you would be able to do with things that you bought in bulk. But make sure that you do have some plan on how to use them up before it goes bad and you have to throw them away. So that concludes our broadcast for today. If there's any questions, you can type them and I would be glad to answer them for you. Okay, I've got a question about organic food. Is organic food, specifically chicken, worth the extra cost? There are certain food items that you really should buy organic, and the USDA actually has a list of what they call the dirty dozen, which are food items that have a higher content of pesticides and fertilizers in them. And so if you go to that website, you will be able to find the link to the organic fruits and vegetables. As far as chicken, there's different ways that they actually say chicken is organic. Sometimes they claim that if the chicken did not receive any antibiotics, the chicken is fed mostly organically grown feed. So as far as the protein content, it probably will not be as there won't be an extra benefit to buying the chicken organic if you're looking at the protein content of it, or even less fat. But what you might get is chicken that did not have antibiotics in them. So that would be a difference. If you're interested in something like that, then it would be worth the cost. Okay, another question. Do you recommend not grocery shopping when you are hungry? That is a good thing to do, to go to the grocery store when you have had something to eat, because sometimes when you walk in the grocery store and you smell the delicious bread, you get tempted to buy it. Also, there are a lot of impulse items that are right in the front of the grocery store or right at the cashier line, and you might be tempted to actually purchase things that you normally would not have purchased if you weren't hungry. And so I would suggest that you go to the grocery store after you've eaten a meal or you've had a snack, so that way you will not be able to get tempted buying things that you probably shouldn't be buying. Okay, another question, is it healthier to get your lunch meat sliced at the deli versus prepackaged? It is in general healthier to get the meat that is sliced at the deli if you get something like oven roasted turkey or beef, because a lot of times those items that you buy at the deli are freshly prepared, and they don't have a lot of preservatives on them. The prepackaged lunch meats, most of the time, will have extra preservatives in them so that they have a longer shelf life. Although you can buy those items as well, now they're being sold without added preservatives to them. So if you buy the plain ones that would say oven roasted, those would be your best bets. And look on the label to check the sodium content of your product, or things that have a lot of nitrites and sulfates and things like that would mean that they would have preservatives in them. Okay, another question, what is the benefit of ground turkey over ground beef? Ground turkey, especially ground turkey breast, would have less fat than ground beef. But ground beef is also sold in different categories. So you will have ground beef that will have more of the fat in them. So you'll see a percentage of fat and on the label. So for example, you might see something that says 80-20, which means it has a little bit more fat in it than what you'd like. You'd also find something that would have 90-10 or something like that on the label for ground beef. For ground turkey, if you're looking for ground turkey, try to make sure that you're buying ground turkey breast, because if you just find ground turkey, it will have other turkey parts in it that might include some of the skin and some of the fatty parts, which will raise the fat content of the ground turkey that you're buying. Okay, one more question here is, what are good snacks and desserts that are healthy? The first thing that I tell patients and the general public when looking for healthy snacks is fruits. Those are quickest snacks to prepare that are healthy. You can pre-cut fruits and put them in your refrigerator towards the front so that it's easily accessible. You can even take fruit and then use some low-fat yogurt, Greek yogurt, and use it as the dip, which then gives you some protein along with the fruit that you're eating. You could also rely on nuts, and when I recommend nuts, I usually tell patients you can buy a big bag of different types of nuts at the grocery store or even at the warehouse stores. Take those and then mix them with a very small bag of dried berries and a very small bag of dark chocolate morsels. Mix them together, put them in small Ziploc freezer bags, like the snack packs, and then put them in your freezer. And that way, if you need something to take with you when you're going on your walk, or if you're traveling and you needed a snack to tide you over till you can get to your meal, those are healthier options for you than trying to get something at the fast food restaurant, or carrying prepackaged cookies and things like that. All right, if there's no other questions, I thank you for your attention and look forward to the next video blog coming.